Next up on the chopping block is the patriarch of the House of Mouse himself, King Mickey. He's, Mickey Mouse. There's really not too much to add to this. He actually pretty closely follows his animated character arc, if you can even say he has one. Over the course of the games we see Golden Age Mickey, Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, Modern Mickey, and the House of Mouse Mickey, though his personality is tailor-fit to the story itself. So the older he gets, the wiser he becomes to the mechanics of the setting. His earliest appearance chronologically is oddly enough in Kingdom Hearts 2, where we get a glimpse into the past of the world, Timeless River, which seems to be a snapshot of a time long past. Here he really doesn't have much of a character arc or even plot beats, fitting considering the type of animations common at the time period and the tone the world sets. Regardless, it is here where he develops a strong friendship with Donald and Goofy, as well as a long-standing rivalry with Pete, his abusive boat captain. The dynamic is literally Steamboat Willie. This should be fairly easy to grasp. Sometime later, Mickey learns of keyblades and becomes an apprentice to Yen Sid, a powerful wizard and keyblade master. Before you ask, yes, the Fantasia Broom incident is in fact canon. During his apprenticeship, he goes on a mission to the country of Musketeers, where he hones his sword fighting and wins the heart of Princess Minnie, who will go on to become his queen. When the Birth by Sleep era runs around, Mickey is taking his Mark of Mastery exam to become a Keyblade Master. In the middle of this, he runs away using an item called the Star Shard, which magically transports the user wherever they're most needed. It's a cheap writer's MacGuffin, but it works, and somehow it lands him in the prequel series Kingdom Hearts Key for a brief spell. Not sure when that happens in this timeline, considering it involves a huge amount of time travel, but I'm just mentioning it here because it's the only place it fits. Back on topic, this means from the majority of Birth by Sleep's plot, he's really just hopping from point to point, during which he befriends Ventus and Aqua, who are on their own journeys, as well as challenging Master Xehanort and his disciple Vanitas, who are doing wacky villain shenanigans. This all ends poorly for just about everyone, with Aqua, Ventus, and Terra basically unreachable by the end of it. But Mickey becomes a master, so that's a plus. Now a master in himself, he has his own little adventures that are never really detailed except for when he comes into contact with a king sage named Ansem from Radiant Garden, who shares his concern over the darkness that's slowly starting to creep out from around the worlds. This is also when he meets Ansem's apprentice, Xehanort, who has direct relations to Master Xehanort but is also kinda his own thing? Look, we'll get to the mess that is Xehanort's character in the next installment. Let's just say this encounter leaves Mickey uneasy. Rolling around to when Kingdom Hearts 1 takes place, Mickey, steadily more concerned with the darkness that has started to eat the worlds wholesale, finds an entry point into the realm of darkness and enters it. His goal is to find the dark parallel to Sora's Keyblade, which allows them both to seal the door to darkness from both sides and prevent more worlds from being consumed. On his journey, he finds Aqua, who has been trapped in the realm of darkness for 10 years and has been fighting day and night to stay alive. This girl, she's seen some things by this point. Together they find the Dark Realm key and find Riku just in time to secretly protect him from the coming threats. Mickey winds up separated from Aqua, but helps Sora, Riku, Donald, and Goofy seal the door and save the worlds. His status after this is a little blurry, just like everyone else's immediately following the Kingdom Hearts 1 incident. Seriously, what the hell is that freaking field? He winds up in Castle Oblivion and helps Riku through it, both emotionally and physically, and acts as Riku's confidant and travel companion for some time following the events of the castle. Eventually though, they do split apart thanks to Riku's insecurities. The next we see him isn't really notable, it's really just Riku somewhat explaining the events of 358 Days Over 2 to King Mickey before Riku makes his own suicide attack on Roxas. The only reason I make note of it when I could just glance over it is that this is the last performance role for Mickey's voice actor of 32 years, Wayne Allwine, who was the voice actor I grew up hearing. Rest in peace, Allwine. You helped shape a generation. Fun fact to lift us from this more dour subject matter, did you know that he was married to Russie Taylor, the voice of Minnie Mouse, since 1986? That's honestly kind of adorable. There, have a nice heartwarming story for the child in you. Moving on, in Kingdom Hearts 2 he plays a more present role, though not necessarily a more active one. He mostly shows up to lob exposition at Sora and the player, like revealing that the Ansem encountered in Kingdom Hearts 1 was really the heartless of a man named Xehanort, and the real Ansem was a kindly scientist man. Yeah, Jesus Christ, I am dreading explaining this later. Anyway, cutting ahead to the end of the game, he confronts Diz in the world that never was, outing him as Ansem the Wise, the original kindly scientist Ansem who was disguised this entire time and plotting revenge against the student who ended up stealing his name. I'll conclude this when I get to Ansem the Wise's character arc, but Mickey only really plays observer to a lot of plot beats throughout the series, this included. This is especially true when he and the main cast besides Sora and Riku escape to Destiny Islands and remain there while Sora and Riku finish off the big bad of Kingdom Hearts 2. When the duo returns, there's much rejoicing, and Mickey heads home with Donald and Goofy to chronicle Sora's journey. This is basically the plot of Coded, and damned if I actually want to explain Coded, especially since I have not played it, and every trusted source I have has actively warded me away from it, so I'll just give you the cliff notes of the cliff notes I have online. Using shenanigans, Mickey digitizes Sora's journal, which has been maintained by Jiminy Cricket, in order to restore pages erased by Naminé when she did her whole memory manipulation shtick. In restoring them, he learns all the information that pushes him and Yen Sid to call Sora and Riku forward for their marks of mastery, thus kickstarting Dream Drop Distance. He's present for the beginning of the Mark of Mastery exam, but leaves for Disney Castle when he learns that Minnie is being held hostage by Maleficent, who wants the data Mickey extracted from the journal. With the help of Axel's human form Lee, Mickey fights her off and returns to Yen Sid's tower in time to help Riku overcome all the crazy going down inside of Sora's sleeping mind, along with Lee, Donald, and Goofy. After Sora is rescued, Mickey takes care of a few housekeeping matters like getting Kairi set up for training and informing Riku about Aqua's current predicament in the Realm of Darkness. With that done, both he and Riku now being masters, both of them head out to rescue Aqua, which is again where we find them in Kingdom Hearts 3. Donald and Goofy, well, they're Donald and Goofy. Donald is a mage, Goofy is a tank, both are basically just cannon fodder for Sora to throw at Heartless until they die, and really don't contribute much to the plot. They involve themselves in scenes, yes, but rarely do they add much. They befriend Mickey and they have a few adventures together, especially when they're all musketeers together, but really they're not relevant until Kingdom Hearts 1. They receive a letter from Mickey telling them to find Sora, in not so many words, and they do that when they go to Traverse Town. They quickly befriend him and they basically provide the chauffeur service for most of the series, what with how they're the ones that own the Gumi ship that they fly between worlds on. From there, they're basically glued to Sora's hip through thick and thin, providing comic relief, friendly shoulders to cry on, and small arguments to keep investment in Sora's friendship with them engaging enough throughout the series. The biggest change comes in Kingdom Hearts 2, where Goofy supposedly dies, driving Sora to go absolutely ham on a veritable army of Heartless, but other than that, they really don't do much. And don't worry, Goofy wasn't actually dead. I mean, they're not gonna kill a Disney character, not one that isn't supposed to be dead. In Dream Drop Distance, they jump in to save Sora alongside Mickey and Lee, which in all fairness is kind of what drives Xehanort away at the end of the game. So I guess they did contribute at that bit. Ultimately, they're glued to Sora again at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3, and I don't think that'll be changing anytime soon. Finally for today's video, we've got good old Yen Sid. Yen Sid is easily the worst character in this franchise, which considering his name is Disney's name backwards is kind of disappointing. He doesn't really do anything. I don't think he's left his tower once the entirety of the series. From what little we know, he was a master alongside both Master Xehanort and Master Ericus back in the day, Ericus being the master that trained Ventus, Terra, and Aqua. After that, he gives up being a Keyblade master and just sits in his tower all day practicing magic. That's really about it. He's basically just a series' go-to exposition dump. Things happen in Birth by Sleep, Terra, Aqua, and Ventus go to him for advice. Sora wakes up in Kingdom Hearts 2, Yen Sid explains half the plot. He sort of does something encoded in Dream Drop Distance by sending Sora and Riku off on their marks of mastery, but not much else. He also says he's going to train the new Keyblade wielders, but then immediately offloads that task to his good buddy Merlin. Lazy son of a... Maybe I'm just jealous. Dude gets to laze around in his tower all day reading the books that he wants to read, doing magic, getting credit for being only tangentially involved in world-spanning wars, and probably having some fun times with his own personal harem of fairies. He's living the life! I'm gonna stop dwelling on this. If you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. If you do, remember to click that bell to get the actual notifications YouTube should send you with its subscriptions. If you think I missed something vital or want to discuss something with fellow fans of the series, leave a comment down below. Consider also becoming a member on my channel by clicking the join button on the YouTube gaming link that I have, so you can get a nifty little icon next to your name every time you comment on one of my chats while I stream. And if you want to support this channel, please check out my Patreon. For $1 or more, you get access to the Team Frostbite Discord server where critics and fans alike like to mingle. A loving shout out to each and every one of my current patrons who help keep this little channel afloat. Without you guys lighting the proverbial torch under my rear, nothing would ever get done, I swear. That's all for now. Stay tuned for the next video in this series, the one that I've been dreading the most. Master Xehanort, and all his many faces.